What's going on YouTube? It's Mike here. Today guys, I'm going to be doing my full WWDC 2012 Apple Keynote full overview and recap. So today at WWDC 2012, there was quite a few things announced. Today is Monday, June 11th, 2012, the first day of the whole week for WWDC 2012. And the actual whole WWDC schedule goes on for the whole week, but the main announcements and new things that are unleashed from Apple begin on the first date of the WWDC week, which happened to be today. So Apple, Tim Cook, Scott Forstall, and all the other Apple kind of people who work really closely with Apple and the big people at Apple have unveiled quite a few things today, and in this video I'd like to recap most of those main things and go over them. So the first main thing that I'd like to go over, we're going to go ahead and look at all this stuff on apple.com. Once you go to apple.com, you'll be greeted with this page, introducing MacBook Pro with retina display. So most of us anticipated this product, and that's the first product I actually do want to go over. So today Apple unleashed a brand new 15-inch MacBook Pro with an all-new Retina display, and as you can see, an all-new thin design. It's a whole new vision for the notebook. So I'm actually going to go here to Store, and I'm going to go directly to the MacBook Pros, and as you can see, we have two comparisons here with the simple MacBook Pro 13 and 15-inch, and then a brand new MacBook Pro with the Retina display and the thinner design, and it's just in the 15-inch model. So I'll first talk about the actual 15-inch model itself. Like I said, it includes now a full Retina display that you'd be getting on your iPhone, your iPad, and your iPod Touch. So it's going to be really crisp quality with over 5 million pixels, more pixels than a 60-inch HD TV, which is pretty insane, especially for a computer. Plus, an all-new thin design makes this MacBook Pro the thinnest, the lightest, aside from the MacBook Air, and also the nicest looking. And Apple also did bump up the specs on this like crazy. However, I was a little disappointed that Apple did not introduce these features for the MacBook Pro 13-inch, as the MacBook Pro 15-inch without Retina display and without that thinness is still available. They didn't do anything with the 13-inch except bump the specs up a little bit. Now, if you are looking to get the MacBook Pro with the Retina display, it is at a high price. It is at $2,200, which is going to value a lot of money, especially for just the basic model. So, and then the second model with 2.6 gigahertz goes up to $2,800. I wouldn't really want to burn almost $3K on a computer, considering the fact all we really get is a nicer display and a bit of a thinner design. When you're looking at the price difference between that and the 15-inch, the older version, which doesn't have Retina display, when you're looking at this simple model, there is quite a price drop difference. Now, aside from the 13-inch models of the MacBook Pro, nothing, like I said, again, has changed much, except for the fact that some specs have been bumped up, like the battery life. Some, also the processors have been bumped up, and you can also now add more RAM, and the dual-core processors have also been upgraded quite a bit. Still the same prices for the 13-inch and the basic 15-inch without Retina display, but the new 15-inch Retina display model has changed a lot and adds some cool things. Plus, with the new 15-inch basic model, you already get 8 gigabytes of RAM. Now, this $2,100 MacBook runs on 256 gigabytes of flash storage, which I think should be more considering the fact that you are paying a lot of money for it, but I guess with its ultra thinness you can't really fit a hard drive. With the 13-inch to fit a 500 gigabyte hard drive, I guess it makes sense considering the fact that there is thickness. We next move on to the MacBook Air, which also hasn't changed too much. Basically, they just bumped up a few specs on both the MacBook Airs, nothing quite too interesting. And then another thing is Apple silently refreshed the MacBook Pro line, just bumped up the specs once again at the most expensive computer, almost being $4,000. Pretty incredible for that price range. I don't think many people are going to buy it, as they really don't anymore to begin with, but they have bumped up specs as well. So all the MacBooks today and the Mac Pro got some spec bump ups, but the MacBook Pro got a new Retina display feature along with the thinness and lightness. So that is the model right there, and it starts at $2,100, $2,200. Which is, like I said, going to value a lot, and I just think it's way too expensive for Apple to be selling this thing. The next great thing I want to talk about from Apple that they introduced today was iOS 6, and no, they did not announce the new iPhone, by the way. Instead, they just announced iOS 6, which is coming this fall, but the beta version is out today. It will take your iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch in entirely new directions. iOS 6 gives you more features to make things you do every day even better. It's coming this fall, and it's free and easy to upgrade wirelessly on your iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch the moment it's available. So, right now, actually, I do have the beta version of iOS 6 Beta 1. I'm going to be going over everything actually inside of it right here on the website itself. So we'll first go ahead and start off with Maps. Maps has changed pretty much completely. Already you could see from the brand new icon. Basically what we have here is a whole new layout of Maps. I guess Google has officially given up, or Apple has officially given up on Google, because the whole interface of the actual Maps application and everything inside of it, including the directions, have changed completely. The whole interface, the whole search bar, and the whole look of Maps has changed incredibly and much differently. Now, this could have been a decision right after Steve Jobs left the company or even before. I don't know. It's more of a kind of new transition, leaving Google and moving on to TomTom, which is another navigational company that Apple now uses. But honestly, this really does look great on the iPhones and iPads. As you can see, we get some 3D views on it, and also the directions are now pretty awesome too. As you can see down here on this sample iPhone, we have directions right here, and we're looking at a 3D view, and what's really interesting is Siri actually tells you the directions. Pretty cool if you ask me, because if you're on the road, you don't even have to look down. Siri will just tell you where to go as it navigates you right through. In iOS 6, Siri got quite a few updates. Not too interesting, but a few updates here and there. So the first one I want to go over is the most important, which is Siri on the new iPad. Now, this is not going to be featured on the iPad 2, and iOS 6 is not supported on the iPad 1. Now, Siri is only available now for the iPhone 4S and the new iPad. Basically operates entirely the same on the new iPad, with Siri's new features that I'll be going over in a minute. As you can see, it doesn't take up the whole screen down here, but instead just appears as a little diode box right on the side, and will basically keep the same size as what you'd get regularly on the iPhone. But the main thing that I want to go over with Siri is its new features. Here we have sports, movies, restaurants, and it does a couple of other things as well. So we'll first go over sports. Basically, you could just ask questions about sports teams, sports players, sports games, find out scores, players, how tall they are, what the scores were, what the games were, and so on. Basically, you could find out whatever you need to know right through Siri. I think it goes through Yahoo. That's what it seems like right here. You can see the little Yahoo logo. And then we'll move on to movies. This is pretty cool. Basically, you can find theaters nearby, and then you can look at all the movies that the theater is actually playing. And Siri gets so intricate with movies that it will tell you reviews, and you can even watch the trailer directly from Apple's servers through the movie's trailer, and you can actually watch them and see what the movies are like, and all while you're running Siri. Pretty cool. And then the next thing is restaurants. Basically, they've enhanced the restaurant search up a little bit. You can also look at reviews of the restaurants, and you can also make reservations and use My Open Table. Pretty cool. And then Siri can also now open apps. It still cannot turn on or off Wi-Fi. If you ask it, it'll just still look for Wi-Fi hotspots, and you can't do like Bluetooth things or change the brightness. But for now, all you can really do with Siri that we thought we'd get is the launching apps, which is pretty cool. And again, considering the fact that it's on the iPad, is pretty cool as well. But I would have liked it to see get supported with a few other devices, such as the iPhone 4, the iPad 2, and possibly even the iPod Touch 4G and the iPhone 3GS. Moving on, we'll talk about Facebook integration, which we highly anticipated in iOS 6. Just as we got Twitter integration in iOS 5, we'd be expecting that we'd see Facebook integration in quite some time. Not really considering a new version before that, but maybe, after. So Facebook is now integrated directly into the iOS, and you now have the basic same features as Twitter and Facebook integrated directly. You can send a Facebook post along with a picture right in the same place as where you would regularly do it with Twitter. So it's pretty cool because now you could do the same thing as you were doing with Twitter. If you like that interface, you could do it the same exact way. You log in with your profile and settings, and with Facebook, you can even use your friends as contacts and add them right to your iPhone contacts. However, I don't find that much of a useful feature, and it actually sucked when, considering the fact I have over 1,000 friends on Facebook, it kind of sucked when they all added to my phone. Thankfully, I got them all off, though. Shared photo streams was added. Basically, that's in between your Apple devices, whether it be a Mac, an iPhone, an iPod Touch, iPad, and so on. You can share your photo streams and share them back and forth, so they will appear in both places no matter where you go. Apple added a new native app to the home screen today, and it is called Passbook. Just the ticket and the boarding pass, the card, and the coupon. This is a pretty cool app, and I can't wait to see what it actually does when it's over. I know what it does, but I can't wait to see how it actually works. So what this does is basically it gathers up all your gift cards. I'm not exactly sure about credit cards, your plane tickets, your coupons, your barcodes, your QR codes, and so on, and basically you take it from store to store, and you don't have to keep all that paper and gift cards and stuff right in your wallet. Basically in your wallet, you just want to keep some cash maybe, and of course your credit card. And then if you want to get all those filling up, space-taking gift cards and coupons and stuff that are just going to get crammed up in your pocket. You scan them and they all wind up sitting in this app. Now, in the current iOS 6 beta, I cannot seem to get Passbook to work. I am assuring that it will not work for any other iOS 6 beta users at this minute, but rest assured it will be working soon, hopefully in a later beta version or the final version of iOS, kind of like how it worked with the newsstand thing. It only started working in the final version of iOS 5. So at this point, Passbook for now is a useless app on the home screen in the betas until Apple actually opens it up to the world. Hopefully it'll be working in the next beta. Maybe they just need to work all the kinks out of it. But right now, when you open Passbook on your iPhone, all you get is it tells you that you can store boarding passes, tickets, store cards, and coupons. And that's all it does. I can't do anything else. It just tells me that I can store it in there. So it's pretty cool. I can't wait to see what it does, and yeah, I can't wait to use it. And another really cool thing about Passbook is it will tell you where your locations are. So if you're near, like, let's say I go near a McDonald's and I have a coupon for, I don't know, let's say an iced coffee. Once I get near that McDonald's, my phone will make a notification and tell me I have a coupon for McDonald's. And then I can pull it up right away, and whoever I'm sitting at the counter with, I guess, can scan it or something or look at the coupon code. FaceTime, look who's talking finally over cellular. Yes, that's right. Get rid of that iPhone jailbreak tweak because you no longer need just Wi-Fi for FaceTime. Let's say you have a 3G iPad or just an iPhone without using Wi-Fi. Well, you can now do it over the 3G or 4G or LTE connection. Now, I'm not guaranteeing great quality here, but you now can do it, so you don't need the jailbreak tweak any longer. So obviously, this is going to cause some extra charges, I'm sure, with your internet, considering the fact that FaceTime is kind of slow to begin with their video and audio streaming simultaneously at the same time. It probably will cause you extra charges, plus the quality won't be that great. But so many people were begging for the feature to begin with, so I guess it makes sense that Apple would add it and people could kind of learn from their lesson what the bad effects of it are. Honestly, I don't find myself using FaceTime as much to begin with, so it won't be that big of a deal for me, but the fact that it is on cellular, I guess, helps out a lot of people now. The phone app has changed quite a bit. You'll see from this picture demonstration right here, when, let's say, Jane Appleseed is calling me, it will say select to answer, and you'll see this little phone diode just like we see on the lock screen with the camera. Well, if I go ahead and bump that up, I come up with this. I come up with a decline answer, and then I can either reply with an automated message, or I can have Siri or the reminders app remind me later. So let's say I hit reply with message, then I can't talk right now, so I could say I'll call you later, I'm on my way, what's up, or I could set it to a custom, and then of course I could hit cancel. If I go here to remind, and then I say remind me later, it will either remind me in 1 hour, when I leave, it'll track me, when I get home, it'll track my home address, or when I get to work, when I get to my work address. So that's pretty cool, because then it'll remind me to call my friend, or I could just reply with a simple text message without touching anything, let's say when I'm in a meeting, so I don't have to mess up. And then with the do not disturb feature, let's say I'm getting a phone call or a text at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I forgot to silence my phone. Well, that won't happen anymore. You won't wake up in the middle of the night hearing that, and the screen won't even go off. It will stay dark the whole time. That's not to say that you won't get any phone calls or any messages. It's just there will be no alert. The screen won't go on, and you won't hear any vibration or sound. But once you turn on the device itself or wake the device from sleep itself, you will see a notification on the screen that you got a phone or text. But you gotta make sure, because this automatically does set a schedule, so make sure you turn that off if you do want to get phone calls or texts in the middle of the night. I personally don't, but hopefully I'll be using this feature soon. With Mail, we got a new VIP feature, which basically takes all your favorite email addresses or very important emails, and it lets you put them all in there. So let's say I'm getting a bunch of business emails from Tiny Galaxy or Fullscreen, my network, and I need to read them more urgently than I do from Amazon suggestions. Well, I can put Fullscreen's email address in the VIP and just leave Amazon's automated email address right in my regular inbox. When I go to VIP, all I'll see is those Tiny Galaxy or Fullscreen emails. And then, I can add more business inquiries, review requests, and so on right in the VIP. So my important emails, I go right to VIP, meaning the most special. And it's iCloud enabled, so it shares through all my iPhone, my iPad, my Mac, and so on. Pretty cool feature. Browsing in Safari has changed just a bit. Some new features we got are the iCloud tabs, which you open one on your iPhone, then they open on your iPad, your Mac, iPod Touch, and so on. And then you can now also go full screen completely with Safari. Basically, you get rid of this big ugly tab up here, and you just have one small screen button and a back and forward button. Accessibility, iOS 6 comes with guided access. This isn't really important. This is just like if you have a disabled child using, or just a disabled adult using a device, and you don't want them touching the home button or messing with the volume buttons or powering the device off. Well, you could shut off all those buttons and just set it to one thing that you need it to. of course, that you get with the standard iOS 5 and iOS 6. Find my iPhone, find my friends. And then now we have remodeled stores. Apple completely redid the iTunes Store, the App Store, and the iBook Store. They basically gave it a brand new UI. It might take some time to get used to. I myself am still getting very used to it because it is much different to look at, but it does look very smooth and nice, and it is much different, like I said, from what we used to have. But it works a lot better, and a lot of people are getting bored with what we previously had, so this is a very nice, clean, slick update. And just so you know, guys, iOS 6 is compatible with the 3GS, the iPhone 4, the iPhone 4S. For the iPod Touch, it's just the 4G. Support for the iPod Touch 3G was dropped. And support for the iPad, support for the iPad 1 was dropped, and it supports the iPad 2 and the new iPad. Now, I've gone over Mac OS X Line before, and if you do want to see my video on Mac OS X Line, just click right here in this annotation, and you'll get to my Mac OS X Line video. I've gone over all this stuff before. There's nothing new that they've introduced. However, Apple has released kind of their final pre-release GM build to developers today. You know, if you're not a developer, though, GMs are always free to get, even if you're not a developer. As long as you can access the links, you know, you can get them from anywhere, basically, just not directly from Apple. So I went over all the features, over 200 new features, which I find hard to believe. Basically, they're just adding a bunch of iOS apps, including now voice dictation, kind of like Siri, but not really, and all the other stuff that I went over. Again, just click the annotation right here to actually get to it, and Mac OS X Mountain Lion comes out next month, and instead of it being $29.99, it is only $19.99. And if you buy a Mac today, when it comes out next month, you'll get the upgrade for free. And the last thing I want to go over, not that special, but I found this pretty interesting. Apple went ahead and discontinued their iPad smart covers, and today silently introduced something new. They are called iPad smart cases, and basically they come in the same basic polyurethane colors. They ditched the whole idea of the leather colors, and they're basically a smart cover on the front and kind of like a polyurethane cover on the back. So you'll get the same feeling both on the front and back. They'll open just like a smart cover, but like we didn't get with the original smart cover, they will also protect the back as well and all around it. So this is a pretty nifty case. I don't think I'll pick one of these up. You can also get them engraved if you'd like to. I don't see a reason for that, but they are pretty cool overall. I do like the look of them. The difference is the smart cover regularly costs $40. This one is $10 up considering the extra protection. And guys, that's it. That is my WWDC 2012 recap. If you guys like this video, please be sure to leave some comments below. Of course, rate, give this video a thumbs up, and click the subscribe button up top. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.